What is up, and welcome back to my channel. I do want to apologize for the mess in the background, y'all, and just do with me, okay? It's Thanksgiving. I'm trying to get to my family, but I want to get a video out to you guys because I love you guys, okay? Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving. Before we get into this video, I do want to introduce myself. If you guys are new here, I am Candace Gabrielle. Hey, how you doing and how you been, baby? How you feeling? This is my channel. This is a lifestyle channel. Whatever is going on in my life, I share it with you guys. Whatever you guys want to see, whatever questions you got, let me know. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you become a part of the Candy Gang, okay? Because you don't want to not. Who don't want to be a part of the Candy Gang? Like, why not? Like, we be having fun over here. We be living our life. We be practicing self-love. We be building our confidence. And we just be really talking this shit out that need to be talked about, okay? Things that we don't want to talk about with these other people because these friends ain't genuine. Make sure y'all check out that video, okay? So you just want to make sure, okay? So this is a safe community for us to come to talk, to pick up on each other, to encourage each other, give each other advice, and to become our best selves. So with all that being said, if you don't want to subscribe, then that's okay, but you gonna subscribe later, baby. I already know. So today, as you guys can see from the title, we are talking about flat locks. I have had questions about flat locks, and I just wanted to kind of get into it for you guys, just so you guys can, you know, be in the loop. If you don't want flat locks, you can avoid them. If you have flat locks and you wanted to know why, this will, you know, inform you, and so on and so forth. If you want to just have a head full of flat locks, you can do that. If you just want to embrace your flat locks but just figure out where they come from, just keep watching, okay? I'm gonna stop rambling. We're gonna get into it. Boom. Let me first give a big disclaimer. For freeforms and for people that want their locks kind of big like mine's, less than 30 locks, if you are retwisting your hair the traditional way, you will run into flat locks. They are inevitable. We are not so much controlling our hair, but our hair is doing its own thing. So there are a bunch of different reasons why your locks could become flat. Your locks can become flat for a numerous amount of reasons. For one, you could be air drying your hair. Air drying your locks can cause flat locks. Also, if you are sleeping on one side of your head, especially if your locks are not mature, of course your locks will be flat on some sides. If you wear ponytails a lot, you will definitely have flat locks. For example, these two locks that I have right here, they may look round as they get longer, but it is very flat starting like here going on up, and it's even flatter at the top because, as you guys can see, I always wear a ponytail coming up, and they just, you know, I smush them down by laying on them, and I don't really care to fix them. I don't really care for my locks to be round per se, so it doesn't bother me. Another thing is, just like when I was saying, like freeforms and people who want locks like mine, who want your locks to be really thick, and you do not retwist your hair very often, you are subjected to flat locks because you are letting your hair do its own thing, and your lock does not want to be perfectly round. Your hair wants to do what it wants to do. It wants to lock on its own accord, which is why we have flat locks, you know what I'm saying? But they're definitely preventable. If you do want locks around the size of mine, they just wouldn't be as thick because I take typically 6 months to a year to retwist my hair. If you retwist your hair every month, you are training your hair to go round, you know what I'm saying? But if you aren't, your hair is kind of doing whatever it wants to, and it's figuring out its way on its own. Another reason you can have flat locks is your foundation. If the person that started your locks, or if you started your locks, if you have rectangular parts, you're going to have a flat lock. You can't help it because that's the shape that your hair is taking. Your hair is taking the shape of the parts that you have in it. So if you have a rectangular part, then you'll have a rectangular lock or a flat lock. If you want perfectly circular, perfectly round locks, then you would definitely have to make sure that all of your locks are exactly square. Make sure that you go to a professional. Make sure that if you're doing it on your own, you using the mirrors, baby. Do whatever you got to do to make them perfect squares if you don't want flat locks. Another reason your locks can be flat is they are not mature yet. So whatever you do to your locks are going to smush, your locks are going to kind of do whatever it's doing. You just got to give your hair time to harden and to lock up so that it has already had that build to it. So when you manipulate your hair, it isn't doing too much. But the more manipulation you do to locks that are not fully locked yet, the more the shape of the lock will kind of look a little funny. Also, I know I did touch on air drying your locks. Also, if you lay on your wet locks, you will get flat locks. I forgot to mention that, but yes, laying on wet locks will also cause your locks to flatten. I know I said I wear ponytails and different hairstyles a lot. If your locks are immature, please just leave them alone, because like I said about me always wearing ponytails and things of that nature, when you are putting your hair into tight hairstyles and tight ponytails and you want your hair to look so polished when you first get your locks, they will start to look funny, especially like when you just want to wear your locks down. They will start to flatten and all of the sort, because you are trying to manipulate them too fast. You're putting them up in a ponytail, and when we wear our hair in a ponytail, your hair is initially flat. So that is what the locks are doing. You are training your locks to be flat wearing ponytails and your hair isn't fully locked. Another good one, and my last good one before we get to prevention, is exactly what I do. As you guys can see, I took a lock and I wrapped that lock around to make a ponytail. Now this is usually my go-to lock to make a ponytail, and as you guys can see right there, that lock is flat. If you do not want flat locks, then you might not want to use your own lock to make a ponytail and just get a ponytail holder. But when you do that, the lock is flat because the lock is, like, you know, wrapping around your hair and it's not in that circular motion anymore. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips that you can use if you want to prevent flat locks. Like I mentioned before, make sure whoever does your hair, make sure whoever starts your locks give you perfect square parts. Another prevention tip is to try to fix your locks earlier on. The longer you wait with flat locks, the longer it will seem impossible to get this lock from being flat. Sometimes it may be very helpful to use a crochet needle. Now you can take a lock that is flat and you can squish it in between your fingers where it's flat. So this lock is flat here, so I'm gonna twist it this way, and these two ends that are like causing the flatness, if that makes sense, I'm just going to very tightly roll that in my finger. And this would take a lot of time, y'all. You would just have to get a habit of just doing this to your locks on a regular basis, and it will definitely rounding out your locks. I used to do this back when I cared about flat locks, but now that my locks are longer and now that my locks are locked, I don't really care about the flat locks. I think that they're unique and I love them, so I don't really want to change them anymore. But that's what I used to do when I wanted to fix them, and it will just rounding it out for you, and you could just like palm roll it. Just make sure that you are rolling your hair and making sure that your hair continues to be circular. Also, another alternative and a more effective and less time consuming alternative, even though this alternative takes a little time too, is you can use a crochet needle to rounding out your locks as well. After shampooing your hair, you want to make sure that you sit under a hooded dryer, and if you don't have a hooded dryer, then you can take a handheld dryer and just make sure that you are drying your locks. Another tip to preventing flat locks is to retwist your hair at least every 3 to 4 months so that your hair is not, you know, just free forming and doing its own thing, and you are continuing to train your hair. You also want to make sure that you are palm rolling your locks maybe every 3 weeks or whenever you get a chance. Build a habit and just, like, you know, just going through and making sure that your locks are nice and round, especially for immature locks. Just make sure that you're continuing to train your hair to be circular. Try alternating sleeping positions so you're not just sleeping on one side of your head, because of course if you sleep on the same side of your head all the time, that side is going to be the flattest and the rest is going to have, you know, that circular movement, and you're really not going to like that. So just make sure that you're moving around, palm rolling, and making sure that you get that flatness out of those baby locks. Okay, baby? And of course this should be self-explanatory from watching this video. Do not lay on your wet locks.
Oh!
Try to avoid pulling your hair up in ponytails, especially tight ponytails and tight hairstyles. Just try low manipulation so that you are not forcing your lock into a different shape that you don't want. And lastly, if you are like me and you like that lock that you just wrap around your ponytail, make sure that you are alternating. You are always switching which lock is wrapping around your ponytail, just so that you're not getting that same lock and, you know, making it flat. But that's all for today. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on those post notification bell so you know every time I post. And don't forget to comment if you have any video requests, any questions, or you just want to talk to me, because I'll be bored. But you already know it's your girl Candy G in the place to be, so comment down below and I'll get to you for sure. I love you guys so much, and without a doubt, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.